our mind could also be attracted outside our body by things which we don't like.
A simple vessel or bowl pours a stream of water.
Let's try meditation together. So we close our eyes.
And I think meditation had assisted me in doing those tasks smooth.
The arms at the shoulder level, lower the heel.
Sawadee. Welcome to the second edition of Meditation for All, a program for all who love peace and discovering themselves. Many of you might have heard about the benefits that meditation brings. In the last edition, Reverend Nicholas Thanissaro spoke in detail about the goodness of meditation and the scientific evidence that proves it. This time, the Reverend will explain to you the practical benefits of meditation by tapping into an otherwise unused energy and power that our human minds are born with. Later in this edition, we will invite you to actually sit down and meditate with us. After that, we will show you mind and body exercises. Then, we will meet with Miss Thailand Universe for 2005, Chananporn Rotjan. Miss Thailand has been meditating since she was a young child and credits her success in life to this fact. But first, let's listen to Reverend Nicholas about how we can save our mental energy and minimize exhaustion.
So welcome back to our mini-series on meditation for beginners. Last week I already had the chance to talk to you about what we actually mean by meditation and also some of the scientific research which has shown the benefits of meditation as well. It all sounds very good, doesn't it? But what is interesting and what we're going to look at this week is exactly how meditation can work to bring us all these wonderful benefits. Some people wonder whether meditation is in fact something scientific. And in fact, although it's not science in general, but there are many things about meditation which we can explain in a scientific way. And what I'd like to do today is to explain in a fairly scientific way about how we can account for all these wonderful benefits which we get from meditation. In fact, most of the problems which we deal with on a personal basis from day to day come from the fact that our body and mind tend not to be in balance. Often they are separated. Our body may be in one place, but our attention or our awareness may be in another place completely. You may think again that there's no problem with that, but in fact the further away the mind goes from the body and the longer it is away, the more problems and the more suffering it tends to bring us. You may wonder why the mind would want to go away from the body in the first place. Well, there are many things to tempt the mind outside the body. Can you imagine the scenario of wandering along a shopping street and seeing something you like in a shop window? Supposing it's something like a diamond ring. The moment you see a diamond ring you like, what you find is that your mind is attracted outside the body and it's with the diamond ring rather than with yourself. This is a case of our mind being attracted outside our body by something which we like too much. At the same time, our mind could also be attracted outside our body by things which we don't like. You'd think your mind didn't want to stay with things which you don't like, but in fact this is often not the case. If you imagine again that you're walking along the street and you see someone you hate, what you find, especially if you want to punch that person on the nose, is that your mind is more caught up with that person than it is with yourself. So also because of hatred, your mind can be drawn outside the body. The longer your mind is away, and the more time your mind spends away, the more suffering which you manage to bring for yourself. That's not the only thing which happens to your mind. In fact, it uses up a lot of mental energy as well. Some of you may have jobs in which you sit at your desk all day long. You may not move a muscle at all. Maybe all you do all day long is to think about your schedule for work or to plan strategies for how to make a profit in life. But I'm sure you agree that at the end of the day you feel exhausted. But it's not physical exhaustion, it's mental exhaustion from the fact that you've been pushing ideas and thoughts around in your mind all day long. Again, this comes from the fact that your mind is active. It's traveling here and there all day long, consuming a lot of mental energy. What we try to do with meditation is to bring the mind back inside the body, to bring the mind back from all those temptations and distractions back to its real home in the center of the body. If we can manage to do that, the first thing which we manage to do is to save an awful lot of mental energy. Instead of consuming mental energy with going here and there, what we manage to do is to conserve all the energy which we usually dissipate into other things. Once we use less energy, surprisingly enough, the amount of metabolic rate which we need in our body is also reduced. Even on the level of common sense, this is intuitive to us. I'm sure many of you have found that when you're worked up, when your mind has a lot of things going through it, then you find yourself breathing deeply. You find yourself sweating sometimes as well if you are upset. But once your mind is brought back inside yourself, these sort of reactions of the body are reduced a lot. And this is a sign that our metabolic rate is actually being reduced. So once we have brought our mind back inside, the metabolic rate will start to fall. This is a response to the fact that our thoughts are more centered inside ourselves. Once we have a lower metabolic rate, because there's less consumption of food and energy in our body, what we find is that the oxygen which we need for our body to function is actually reduced in its demand. So we find that instead of breathing deeply or instead of breathing heavily, we find ourselves breathing in a more subtle way, in a more refined way. And again, this is intuitive, that when we feel calm, often we find that our breathing will become relaxed as well. However, when we are worked up, our breathing may be much more coarse and much heavier. But once we start to relax, we find that our oxygen consumption is reduced and our breathing will become more shallow. Once the breathing becomes more shallow, the next thing which happens is that the number of thoughts stirred up in the mind by our breathing will be reduced a great deal. It's rather like the metaphor of the ocean, in which when the wind stops blowing, there are hardly any waves on the surface of the ocean anymore. And the same thing with our mind. Once we have shallower breathing and more relaxed breathing, then the number of thoughts which are stirred up in the mind become much less. And this brings us full circle, because once our thoughts become less, then in fact less energy is required. Once even less energy is required, our metabolic rate will decrease further. The level of oxygen will also decrease, and the shallowness of our breathing will become less and less. So what we see is a sort of positive feedback loop by which the more our mind is centered inside our body, the less consumption of energy, the less consumption of oxygen, and eventually there will be a reduction of thoughts in the mind as well. And the thoughts will be reduced more and more until we come to the point where there are no further thoughts in the mind anymore. At this point, we come to a condition which we call a standstill of the mind. In fact, it's not the mind that has stopped, but it's the thoughts which have stopped. Once the thoughts stop, then our mind can switch over into a new mode of functioning, a way of functioning which doesn't require us to think anymore, but by which we can draw directly on things like insights and intuitions and especially gut feelings in the mind, where we can know about things without having to think about them. But what is important from the point of view of our meditation is that once the mind becomes stopped in this way, there will be a very special thing happening inside us, which is there will be an arising of light inside us. It's not a light that comes from outside, but it's a light which will occur in the mind. And it's this sort of light, especially at the center of the body, which allows us to see more about ourselves, see about things which we cannot see with the naked eye. And the more we can see, the more we can know. When our level of knowledge increases, then we can start to discover many of the secrets which are normally hidden for us about the nature of life and reality, many things which we never knew before. So this is exactly how meditation can help to bring us into a state where we have brightness inside, where we can have knowledge which is not accessible to those who never meditated before. By now you might be wondering where this brightness inside us could have come from, because it's not something which we had before. But in fact, brightness is something which we have always had inside us. It's just the case that the brightness which we always had has been scattered in many different places. If you take a look at this torch here, you find that there's something very important missing from it. Normally a torch is something which we can use to light up a room, to find things in the room around us. But when we have a torch like this, which has its lens missing from it, then although it consumes the same amount of energy, and although it has a bulb which is working properly, in fact we cannot use the torch for anything useful at all. Why? Because all the light from the torch is in rays which is scattered in different directions. But what we've done when we have practiced the meditation is that we've taken all the different rays of light, which before were scattered in different directions, and we have focused them together into one single beam. This is seen in the second photograph here, where we find that the lens on the torch has been replaced. Instead of all the light being scattered in different directions, now it is all focused in the same direction. Just now when we were talking about bringing all our thoughts back to the center of our body, we've done exactly the same thing with our mind. Instead of allowing our thoughts to be scattered here and there with the things that we like or don't like, or even to different parts of the world, in the case of people thinking about the other side of the world, now we have brought all our thoughts back to one single point in the center of our body. And when we do this, what we find is that our thoughts are now going in the same direction, and in the same way, all the light inside ourselves, which before was scattered in different directions, now comes to a visible focus in our center. And it's this sort of light which allows us to see dimly at first, and later much more brightly, just all the secrets which we have inside ourselves. In the beginning, the light may be rather dim, or maybe it'll be as if you can hardly even see it at all. Some people describe in their meditation that it's like being in a dark room where they can only see the outlines of the objects in the room with them. But later, as their eyes adapt to the darkness, then they can see more and more of the room around them. It's the same thing with the meditation. With practice, the level of brightness will start to grow inside us, rather like a lens on a torch which becomes more and more focused, allowing us to have a very powerful tool to examine the nature of the world around us and the nature even of ourselves. Sometimes it's easy to comment on the things which we see in the world around us, but the last place we ever look is inside ourselves. Sometimes other people know more about ourselves than we do, but once we have a brightness inside ourselves, we can start to learn about the real truths of the things inside ourselves. We don't need to wait for other people to give us encouragement, but we can give ourselves encouragement from the inside out. So these are some of the things we can do when we do this magical trick of starting to focus the thoughts inside our mind, rather like the torch, where by focusing the beams of light we can have something very powerful. The light inside the mind can be more powerful than any of the lights which we've seen in the outside world. Some who have meditated have said that the light inside can be as bright as the midday sun, or even brighter than that. This is something which we can look forward to in our meditation once we become more proficient. This is all I'd like to leave you with from the point of view of the theory of meditation for today. But next time round, we'll be looking more at some of the attitudes which can help us to study meditation in more efficient way. And these will be some of the things which I'll be talking to you next time round.
Wow! Isn't that fantastic? What meditation can do for our well-being. In the next section, we will show you a Buddhist tradition through action. You probably have heard about merit making before, and you may even have done it yourself. What we show you next is one way Buddhists traditionally share the merit they have made to loved ones who have passed away. It is an act of love and remembrance, achieved with a focused mind.
Wonderful wishing water. A simple vessel or bowl pours a stream of water in conclusion to a meritorious deed, to the accompaniment of the resonant chanting of monks. The pourer makes a wish as the water gushes out into the bowl. The most important part of making the wish is the water itself, the stream of water which focuses one's concentration. The touch of the fingertip in the water's flow channels a feeling deep inside, and all are combined in a moment of concentration while the wish is in the making. It is believed that the wishing water must finally be poured into the earth, into a pot of plants, or at the foot of a tree, with the additional wish that the water may nourish the life of all living beings on the planet. The wishing water helps nourish the life of all living beings on earth.
Sharing merit with families and friends who passed away is one way to show that they are still on our minds, not forgotten. But before we can share merit with anyone, we have to make merit first. And one way to gain merit is to cleanse our mind through meditation. Next, Reverend Somsak Piyasilo will show you how to meditate. Grab a cushion and let's start, shall we?
Welcome everyone to this meditation session. Meditation is the philosophy belonging to the world of the Oriental. In the Oriental, meditation is so commonly found in all levels of the society. It is not only the theoretical part, but meditation also guides the one who practices it to gain peace and happiness inside as the fruit of meditation. Everyone in this world, I believe, desires for happiness, and meditation is the key and the answer of reaching happiness that we all look for. Now let's start practicing meditation. The first thing is to choose your sitting position. You might not be able to sit in lotus position like I am doing now. That is fine for beginners. As a beginner, you might choose the comfortable corner of your room. Choose your own chair that you like. You might sit on the cushion, or if you have a little pillow to support your lotus position, that would be great. But the important thing is your back should be kept straight to prevent from the pain in the back. Now let's try meditation together. So we close our eyes so softly. Don't press the eyelids. Just let them close so softly and gently. You can breathe normally, like you normally do. Nothing is so special about it. Let all parts of the body to get relaxed. All parts of the body. From head, make sure all the muscles around the head is thoroughly relaxed. Let go all the tensions around small muscles around the eyes. Loosen the tension at the two eyebrows. Let flow of relaxation stream down to cover all parts of the body. Downward, downward, relaxed and relaxed. Down to the end of the feet. Our entire body is now relaxed, even though it is little by little. The stream of relaxation is now covering our physical body, affecting our mind to be relaxed too, because body and mind is really connected together. Follow your in-breath, and you get to know that there would be a turning point of the in-breath. The turning point here inside the abdomen. This is what we call the turning point. Scientists might discover this center point as the point of the center of gravity. This is commonly known by the Lord Buddha's teaching. He has the term, the middle way. Lord Buddha teaches about the middle way, which is the unique teaching and really practical. Middle way lies in the center of the abdomen. Also, the late Abbot Luang Po Wat Pak Nam, who is the greatest meditation master, discovered that center point in his meditation as well. So he has got the term, the center of the body. No matter what term we might use, the turning point, the center of the body, the center of gravity, or even the middle path of the Lord Buddha, they all belong to the same spot inside the abdomen, right in the center of our body. This is where our mind is staying. So welcome the mind into the center of the body altogether. The awareness arises immediately, but with relaxation in the center of the body. In the Thai language, we call sabai sabai. Sabai in Thai means relax. So we do this with full relaxation. Relaxation and the feeling at the center are tightly connected together. The more you are relaxed, the more you get to the center. And the more you get to the center, the more you get relaxed. So two qualities will unite as one at the center of the body. It is also the center of the mind. Let's make a little mark at this center point by imagining, visualizing a tiny sparkling star to appear peacefully at the center point. In the center of the body, the turning point is shining with the brightness of that shining star. It could be sparkling, shining, glittering, whatever. But that is the landmark of that turning point. The mind is now blending well with the shining star. The star blends with the mind. The mind blends with the star. The mind is shining bright as a bright spot at the turning point. So keep reminding your mind to blend, to stay at this shining bright spot in the center of the body. The shining star in the center creates peace of mind. Peace and happiness arise from inside. So peace of the world is not from outside, but inside out. We are the first person to try the taste of the peace of mind at the easy turning point of your breath. The turning point is bright, peaceful, and happy. Let's share this peace and happiness to the world. Let's wish that the world one day will get to know this secret of turning point, the secret of peace and happiness, and then expand the feeling of peace, the light of peace to all mankind and all living creatures of the world. May the world live in peace together.
Peace on earth, it's a dream we've shared. Only now it's close to reality. Would you listen carefully and spare me a little of your time? Meditation, haven't you heard? It's the key word for everyone. It's the next human evolution, and you would be the one to share it with the world. Now we join together and make it happen. Let's make the world at peace through meditation. Peace comes from within. At the center of all things is you. Peace and joy with love and your happiness. Light a candle bright inside of you, and it too will light the next one, and the next one, and the next millions of candles will brighten up the whole world. In this world, we know there is hatred, greed and hunger, and suffering. To be free, free from all of these things, remember that the one place peace can be found is within. Now we join together and make it happen. Let's make the world at peace through meditation. Now we'll join together and make it happen. Let's together and make it happen. Let's make the world at peace through meditation. From now on, may the bright light of peace at the center of each of you be a beacon for the true and everlasting peace. Let's make the world at peace through meditation. Now we join together and make it happen. Let's make the world at peace through meditation. Now we join together.
I hope you enjoy the music. I especially love those relaxing rhythms. Next on our program, we have guest Miss Thailand Universe 2005, Chananporn Rotjan.
Sawadee. My name is Chananporn Rotjan, or some of my friends would prefer to call me as Shana or Nod. I'm 23 years old and I just graduated from Thammasat University with a Bachelor of Electrical Engineering. I also happen to be the title holder of Miss Thailand Universe 2005. I was born a Buddhist, so merit making was first in my nature, and I was taught very early on about the various ways in which I could make merit, and meditation was one of them. My parents tried to instill the habit of meditating and praying before going to bed since I was really young, so I practiced that normally every day along with my little brother. And during our school break, or whenever we would have a holiday, we would go to meditation camp or the Yuat camp, organized by the temple. And there we would meet a lot of young kids just like us, who enjoy meditating and learning more about Buddhism, and that made the temple one of our favorite places to be. Meditation also helped me to do well in school. It helped me to concentrate on the lesson that I had to learn at hand, and it helped me to memorize things more easily, and my memory tended to stay with me for a long time. With meditation, I learned to relish all the wonderful things that came into my life and to look at things positively, to live with others peacefully. And I've always tried not to offend anyone physically or verbally. The more I meditate, the more I got to learn myself, and I got to learn the importance of having peace within me all the time. And I felt that I was really fortunate to be in that position, and that I wanted to share this peacefulness and happiness with everyone that I happened to come into contact with. But I also realized that not everyone was as lucky as I was in that not everyone was given equal opportunity to get to know the practice of meditation or to get to know the depths of Buddhism. So I realized that I had to have the courage and determination to introduce meditation to other people so they could lead a life as wonderful as mine. I've always been taught that meditation is the best way that you can make merit, but when I was young, I didn't fully understand the extent of that. But as I was growing up, I did notice that success came easily for me, that if I wanted anything good to happen to my life, it would. For instance, when I was finishing 6th grade, I had no idea where I was going to school next. And luckily for me, my aunt adopted me as her daughter, so I was able to attend Romedy International School, and that's where I acquired my skill in the English language. I think I'm a very accepting person because I could accept anything that would happen to my life no matter what, because in all, it's a result of the law of karma. Most people would experience a cultural shock when they go into a foreign land or some place that they are not familiar with. But I think meditation has helped me to sympathize with all the people that I come into contact with, and that I don't really feel surprised when I'm faced with a challenge or with something totally novel to me. I am very accepting to this changing world. I think meditation made it easy for me to walk a straight line in my life. My ultimate goal is always to achieve the highest degree of inner peace and merit making, and I always try to sort of keep myself on that track and always trying to bring the people I know, the people I love along the way. And I think that's what I've been doing since as long as I can remember. I always try to get my friends to meditate with me, get my friends to make merit with me, either by giving or freeing the lives of innocent animals, and supporting in building the temples and any religious activities. When I was in New York, I didn't have the opportunity to go to the temple regularly because I was engaged in other activities such as school and sports that I rarely ever had time for it. So I tried to meditate even more, and the result of that was apparent in my improving grades. My grades were improving every year, and I was inducted into the National Honor Society of the USA, and that was an achievement that I was really proud of. After finishing high school, I was awarded a scholarship to study at Thammasat University, and I did not hesitate to accept that because it was a chance for me to come back to Thailand and a chance for me to come back to the temple that I love to be in, and for me to refresh my meditation skills and whatnot. And when I came back, I found out that a lot of my friends were also interested in meditation, but they didn't have means, or they didn't know anyone who could teach them or tell them how to meditate. So I brought them to the temple, and most of them were very touched with the peace and knowledge that they were able to gather from meditation. And one thing that I noticed is that the more we meditate together, the better friends we become, and the more that we meditate together, the closer we become. And I could say that having friends to do good deeds with, having friends to make merit with, is far better than having friends to party with. And I'm pretty sure that we're gonna stay friends for longer than most friends do. And after graduation, I was a bit worried because I didn't have a clear view of the direction that my life was heading to. I had the choices of either going to study abroad or working here in Thailand, but I also had a childhood dream of becoming a pilot. But I didn't know if I could achieve that dream because the opportunities for becoming a pilot for women then were so limited. And fortunately for me, after I graduated, Thai Air Asia initiated a program for a dream weaver for becoming a pilot. So I entered that program, and I was selected as one of the 40 pilots for Thai Air Asia. And I think the merit making that I've been doing for the entirety of my life has played a huge role in that. I find that things, as I said, I found that success came easily for me. So I wanted to test my merit a little further, and as a way to help spread the knowledge of Buddhism and the practice of meditation, I entered the Miss Thailand Universe contest so that in the case that I happen to win, I would be able to speak about Buddhism and meditation to the people of Thailand and the people of the world during the Miss Universe pageant. And in case you don't already know anything about being a pilot, I can tell you that it's a very demanding job. Pilots are always under constant pressure for having to keep control of the aircraft all the time for the safety of themselves and the passengers and the people who may be affected directly or indirectly by the accidents. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, before being chosen as a pilot, you have to display the necessary skills and qualities for becoming a pilot, and I was put to the test during the Dreamweaver program. I had to do a lot of tasks that required a high level of concentration and determination, and I had to do all that without showing any kind of fear or anxiety at all. And I think meditation had assisted me in doing those tasks smoothly and impressing the captains in the process. I was chosen as one of the 40 pilot cadets for Thai Air Asia that time. I was one of the 40 pilots chosen from that program, and only 1 out of 6 women. And for your information, there were 3,000 applicants in total for that program. And while I was working toward becoming a pilot, there was a sad situation that struck the southern part of Thailand. I worked as a volunteer at the tsunami victims camp at Thammasat University and helped those in need in every way that I could. Shortly after that, I saw a commercial for Miss Thailand Universe 2005 on TV, and that in the pageant they were going to promote the provinces that were hit by the tsunami. I saw that as a good opportunity to further my effort in helping the tsunami victims and those that were affected by the natural disaster. So I joined the program in hope that the least that I can do was to help bring tourists back to the southern part of Thailand and bring the local economy back to full bloom. I also wanted to see if meditation could help me win the title of Miss Thailand Universe so that I can be the spokesperson for the practice of meditation in Thailand and around the world and help spread the knowledge and practice of meditation. I think meditation is a universal practice that anyone can do to achieve the relaxation and happiness within, and it is a very important tool in bridging the gaps between the differences of the people around the world. With meditation, I think people would find it easier to embrace the differences among them. That's why I would like everyone to just spare a little bit of their time to meditate, and you'll find that the best thing that you can ever find in life is actually from within. And one last thing for those of you who are beginners, meditation is actually very simple. Most people would mistake meditation for concentration. That would mean that you would have to think a lot in order to gain a lot of knowledge. But that wouldn't go with meditation. Meditation is all about stopping your thoughts and minds and really find peace within yourself. And it is only when you can stop that you would gain the depths of knowledge that you could only imagine. Meditation is actually very simple. The trick to it is that you have to stop. Most of the people would mistake meditation for concentration, and that would mean that you have to think a lot in order to have a lot of knowledge. But that wouldn't go with meditation. With meditation, you would only gain the knowledge if you can stop your body and mind and thoughts. And then you can use that knowledge toward creative thinking and creating a better life for yourself. Now, stopping your thoughts and your body may seem normal to you, but how in the world would you stop your mind? For me, I'd just lay my mind at the center of my body and let the wonderful things happen to me. I've tried meditation, now it's your turn to go back home and try it. Bye for now. สวัสดีค่ะ
Thank you, Ms. Rotjan. Now, it's time to get up and do some exercise. Not just any kind of exercise, but the kind that train you to still the mind while your body is on the move. Hello everyone. Welcome back to Ksem Sukh Movement. We are still with Kun Laksami Pamornsathit. สวัสดีค่ะคุณลักษมี
สวัสดีค่ะคุณพิจุดา
Just back to the previous time, we have done with the posture of preparation. So today, do you think we are ready for the first posture?
Yes, and the first posture we call Superman. Let's come to see the trend.
Okay.
The first posture next to the preparation posture is called Superman. Start with standing position. There are two steps of movement for this posture. First, letting both hands to the side of body. Still for 2 seconds. Then, slowly lift both arms forward. When the arms reach the shoulder level, slowly lift the heels up. While arms are continued to be lifted all the way, stretch your body as if you are trying to reach the ceiling and pause right there for a few seconds. Then slowly lower both arms. When the arms reach the shoulder level, lower both heels and let them touching the floor the same time the arms reach the side of the body. Second step, slowly lift both arms to the side. When the arms at the shoulder level, slowly lift both heels up until both arms nearly reach the uppermost position. Turn the palms facing together to prevent muscle tension. And pause right there for a few seconds. Then slowly lower the arms. When the arms at the shoulder level, slowly lower both heels and let them touching the floor as the arms touch the side of the body. So try both steps. Lift the both arms up in front and then to the uppermost. Stretch the body and lower the arms down. At the shoulder level, lower the heels down. And now, lift both arms to the side. At the shoulder level, lift both heels and turn the palm facing together. Lower the arms. At the shoulder level, lower the heels. Always remind of the center inside. Then, lower your body to sitting posture. Closing the eyes, being with your internal peace for a few seconds.
Oh, it looks very graceful. What do you call it? One more time?
We call it Superman,
Mm-hmm.
and this posture is very good for everybody, especially for the kids. It helps to stretch their back and increasing their height.
Oh.
And for adults, it will stretch the muscle along the side of the body. Do it slowly. You can feel the blood circulation go all the way to your fingertips.
Oh, yes. And do you think that all fans at home can do it, following from the posture of preparation?
Certainly. Do it 2 or 3 times, or until you feel enough. And remind of the center of the body inside while moving. Then sit down, close your eyes. With your inner peace for a while, it's so fantastic, and it's the best way to relax.
Yes, isn't it very interesting? So we're going to try it at home. And remember that Ksem Sukh movement is composed of 10 postures altogether, and this is only the first one. And it is perfect for body stretching and mind. and it will be both efficient. But don't forget the technique. The technique of Kasem Sukh movement is to still the mind while we are in a move. And that's it for today. ขอบคุณมากค่ะ คุณลักษมี สวัสดีค่ะ Thank you for watching the second edition of Meditation for All. We hope you have been practicing your meditation regularly. Until then, have a great week. See you next time. สวัสดีค่ะ